Hello folks. Well now, I have successfully got up a dedicated server for Satisfactory. Not necessarily for multiplayer play, but because it is actually the best way to play the game, so that you could have your factory working when you're not there. If you've been following the series, I started this as a single player game. I allowed the option for co-op where, you know, friends of mine on Steam could join the game if they want to in the future. Yeah, but I just ran it from within Satisfactory without doing the dedicated server. In case you don't know, the dedicated server is really just separate software that you can download from Steam, whether you have a Steam account. So if you have the Unreal, if the Unreal engine is how you installed Satisfactory, you can still download the dedicated server from Steam without even having to be logged into Steam or have Steam on the computer you run the server on. And you even can, run the server on the same computer that you're playing the game on. It just allows you, when you quit the game, to let the world keep running and the factory keep running without being in the game, so your video card and CPU are not being taxed with playing the game and providing all the visuals. It's just a text box that keeps the log, that the server is running, and it's just an efficient way to kind of let your factory keep making things while you're not there. And so I set it up where I have another computer on my local area network that's going to be running the server. And of course, you can also do multiplayer action on it as well. That's the other benefit. And have that server up and running when you're not there, and friends could be playing on it and stuff like that. So anyway, I'm not going to be showing the details of that, although if you leave a comment and ask me to, I will make a video on how to set up a dedicated server. It's something where it could be on the same computer, or it could be on a different computer in your local area network. Of course, there's always the option that you just get the server hosting and you rent it through a hosting service, but I'm just doing it on another computer in my house that will be running the server. And so anyway, I'm actually just going to, at this point, just show you how I have that operating and what's been going on with my factory and the whole production of stuff. So here we go. Now I am starting Satisfactory in the game itself, just to show the difference here, where this is where I created a new game to start the series, and if you hit continue, it just picks up from your last save, and there is autosave on, so it would pick up from the last autosave if that's how you did it, or if you saved before you exited and gave it a new name or something, and you save there. Join game is if you're going to join with one of your friends on a game in progress. But if you have a server, you go to manage server here, and this is where I can see the Wayfarer project. That's what I named the server. And you have your server status window. That if this is appearing here, that means it's up and running and it's been found. And so here I've managed I go under manage saves. This is where you can select what save you want to load, and hit load there. But once you do that, this is where I fell through when I first set it up. I thought it wasn't working, but it was, because it didn't actually go into the game. What you got to do, if you've set this up and you've uploaded your game, which is also under manage saves, this is where you can select upload, and you can upload a single player game to your server. If it's on the same computer, it'll just put it in a different folder, because there's saves for the server and the saves for the game are in two separate folders next to one another, so it's convenient to find, but they are saved separately. But you can upload a single player game, so that way you can then, you know, switch to playing on the server, which is much better. But in any case, I don't need to even select that because I'm just going to do the latest save. In order for it to be a save, you do have to log on to the server and save the game, but the game's still running anyway, so I can actually just not select load and it'll just go to the server as it is right now. But if I went there and selected what game to load, it will go back to that time and that save. Alright, so that's the difference. So if you, either way, if you load the game or you just want to pick up where the server's at right now, you do have to eventually come back to the server status window and click this. And so now it'll be accessing the server on my other computer where the world is running and stuff. And I'll show you why this is the best way to play Satisfactory, especially once you get going. Before you hit the coal era and basically have coal burners, you know, running where basically my factory can run 24/7. You know, the coal's being automatically mined, the water's being automatically sourced, so these burners just run, you know, ad infinitum. My factory can run on its own basically. And the advantage to doing this is something I'm going to show you now. Now, if you start the game not using the server and then add it to the server, that's fine. It's just by the time you're doing coal, you should really be on the, you know, on the server. Because if we look at our basic assembly line here, the lower level where iron's being made, oh, not that. You see how there's plates here. It's filled up, and even though plates are being used for other things, mainly just the reinforced iron plate, it's making enough plates that as some get sucked out to make reinforced iron plates, there's still enough left here. For some items, that's not always going to be the case. Here we have rods, plenty of rods, it's all full. Even though rods are used to make other things, it makes them fast enough that as they're used for other things, this container doesn't really empty. In fact, you see it stopped. You know, it'll move forward whenever the rods are needed again to make something else. But what I've found is plates and rods at this point are not getting sucked out fast enough that you don't have any in storage. Now for screws, unfortunately it's empty. Why? Because as soon as new ones are made and go in here, they go right back out again because something else is pulling them in. Now that's true for rods and plates too, but it depends on demand. Depending on the formula, for example right here, both rods and screws are going in, but it needs 5 iron rods and it needs 25 screws to make a rotor. So obviously in this stage 5 rods will go in pretty easily, but by the time 25 screws get in there, then it makes a rotor and it pops it out, and you know, the rods get backed up because there's more screws in this recipe than rods. And so also screws are being used to make the reinforced iron plates. So here, once again, to make a reinforced iron plate, it needs 6 iron plates and it needs 12 screws, so twice as many screws. So obviously the screws are going to be used up faster than the plates and the rods, and that's why its container is empty, because it's moving on to make other things. Now this would, the demand for screws would stop and allow its container to get filled up as soon as things further down the line get filled up. Like this container here is for the reinforced iron plates, but as you see, it's empty. Why? Because the reinforced iron plates are being used to make something else. So as soon as they're made, they get sucked out to make the modular frames. And so the modular frames use rods and reinforced plates. 12 iron rods and 3 reinforced plates. But the reinforced plates are further down the line, so fewer of them are being made. The rods are backed up, but the reinforced plates, you know, are going in here. Now I see some reinforced plates here that came out that are kind of backed up. Why? Because here, so they're backed up at one spot, and the other spot they're not. Because here, it takes one rotor and one reinforced plate to make a smart plating. So obviously, there's fewer rotors coming through than reinforced plates, so they got backed up. And so, and that's also because the rotors are being used to make something else up there. Motors, in fact. And so, as you see, there'll be different items that are getting used faster than others. But the thing is here, when this smart plating gets full, and this container gets full of smart plating, then this will get to back up here on the rotors, and then they'll give rotors more of a chance to build up. But they'll really build up when both of the things down the line that they're used for get full. And so this allows me to run the factory offline now on the dedicated server, so my stuff can build up. And so we can see what things are in demand, because suppose you need to build something and part of the recipe is screws. Well, you're not collecting enough screws to be able to on the fly make the thing. The best thing actually probably is, as soon as you get in coal, is fill up your earlier storages and then add things further down the line one at a time, so that as they're drawing from things earlier in the line, by the time they're done drawing from them, this will replenish again, and so forth. And that's easiest done when your factory's running, when you're not playing the game, basically. So anyway, up here we have a bunch of things being made. Here's the earlier stuff. Just like the iron makes plates and rods at the beginning of the line, steel, which goes through the smelter here and the constructor here. There's two constructors, one making steel pipes, which are here, the other one making steel beams. Now the pipes, as you see, are backed up because they're less in demand, I guess, as the beams for further down. You see the beams haven't filled up at all. As soon as one's made, it's out the door, and it's going to a couple of things. One thing it's going to is the versatile frameworks back there. Another thing it goes to from the splitter is the enhanced steel beams here that also use cement, and the cement is being produced on the level below. Those of you who've been watching the series, you know where my different things are at. And so as you see, or I keep saying cement, it's concrete. 5 concrete, 4 steel beams. But the thing is, the concrete container's probably full. This is the only thing the concrete is being used for in the assembly line. Of course, loose concrete you just take and use in a bunch of recipes, but since concrete's been made since early on in the game, I have enough built up, and at this point there's so much of that, and the steel beams are still so much in demand. You know, as soon as enough of them come in, it'll make the enhanced steel beams, which are cement and regular steel beams. So you see the same thing playing out everywhere here. Let's see. But, you know, maybe tonight when I let the factory run, maybe by tomorrow morning or sometime, the steel beams will be the enhanced steam beams. The enhanced steel beams might fill up here, and thus stop that demand, and that means the regular steel beams can then build up. But yeah, the enhanced steel beams do not continue on from here. They're not used to make anything else so far in my assembly line, so that's why they'll have a chance to build up, fill the container, and then there'll be less demand on the regular steel beams. See, the steel pipes are coming in here. They're part of making stators with copper wire. Now the copper wire, we can look at it coming in from my copper area down there, where it's being mined and processed into wire and cables and copper sheets. You see, it's not really backed up, so it'd be interesting to see if my wire is empty down there or not. They seem to be coming through regularly though, so it's not waiting for them, so that's a good sign. Now, an approach to handle this in the future, when I unlock the ability to make shards, well, I've already been able to make a shard, but I haven't unlocked the ability to be able to overclock the machines with shards. This area opens up when you cross that point. When that opens up, then you can put shards in that you make from the different snails that you find, and you can overclock these machines. So like if I decide, you know, I need to produce a certain thing faster so that you know, I don't have to wait as long for, you know, a container to fill up, I can do that. And one thing I'll do downstairs, especially, well, you saw it, so I don't have to walk down to show it again. You saw how the screws were being tapped out right away. You know, no chance to build up. If I speed up the machines, the constructors, to make the screws, then screws will be made faster, and it might be able to satisfy the demand better further down the line. So you decide which machines you want to overclock and speed up. But I know that maybe by tomorrow, I've been monitoring these a bit, you know, after a good amount of hours by tomorrow, probably a lot of these things will be filled up, and then it can fill up some of those containers who have items that are more in demand. You see the stators are backing up here a bit at this machine. So anyway, if you've been following the series, you saw me put the upper deck together, and so you know where everything's being produced and what's different items are producing what. But I'm just at that point where I can't overclock things yet, and some things can't be produced fast enough that they can build up in their storage. That's basically it. But if I was doing this dedicated server thing earlier, and I tried, but I, you know, I uploaded the single player thing to the server, pressed load, saw nothing happened, and I thought, oh, it's not working. No, I needed to go back to the server status screen and go to the game from there. So that was my problem. So anyway, now if I would have done this sooner, as soon as I had coal, that whole second floor there wasn't made yet. I wasn't doing steel yet. I could have basically had this stuff running, and these things probably would have all filled up by then. But now I have more things running, so it's going to take longer for containers to fill up. It's not that you have to have them full, but like if I decide to make something from the queue menu here, and if I just don't have those items because there's none in the containers because they all been used up, and they're constantly going out to the next constructor or assembler because they're in demand, it's like, great. Then I have to make them manually if I can, and some things you can't. Yeah, there's the wires are empty. Yeah, because they're being used for things up there. But this will fill up once those other things are made. And then you can basically, when you got your containers full, then you can go on building and constructing things and all that. And cables are in demand. So what I gotta do is let those containers where these things are in demand fill up, so that, you know, as soon as, forget what it is, cables plus, I think it's the automated mining. It's the cables plus stators, I think. Don't quote me on that, but well, cables plus something else are making automated mining. As soon as that fills up and it doesn't need to make more, then the cables will fill up here as they are made and not moving along. You'll see them backed up. So if I would have done this earlier, I probably wouldn't be in the position that I'm in now. So it's probably good to do it early on, at least as soon as you do coal, because the biofuel burns faster. And when you're using biofuel, it'll burn faster and your machines won't run as long, so you're busy collecting stuff to make biofuel, and your machines are running while you're collecting, you know, stuff to make biofuel. But once you get to coal and automated power, where basically the power can just be left on, then you should start right then to play using the dedicated server, so your factory can run while you're away, and the next time you log in to do the game, you have enough stuff to make the things you want. Where we left off last time is actually here. I want to make some hypertubes, or at least play with it a little bit for the next video. It was going to be this one, but I decided to do this first because look, I know I have plenty of copper sheets. The steel pipes seem to be backing up. I'm good there. The enhanced beams, I might even be good with that. They might be cool. No, I think they're going out too fast. They're not building up in the container. So if I don't have any by chance on my inventory right now. Oh, that's to clear ahead to the next thing. Oh, I'm sorry. Brain fart. This is to clear ahead to the next level. The next milestone, I should say. But let's go here, the hypertubes, making them. They're made from a variety of different items. Oh, it's under transportation, isn't it? Yep, hypertubes. So we have this, we'll start with this one here at the end. So we got a stackable hypertube. So basically you could stack 2 tubes or 3 tubes or multiple tubes on each other on its pole. Well, it looks like with what's in my inventory, I can make that no problem. Concrete, steel rods, and iron rods and iron plates. No problem there. Let's look at this guy here. This is iron plates and cement. Actually, that easily can be made too, because those things are items that are not backing up. Hypertube entrance. Rotors. Yeah, I'm out of rotors because they're too in demand upstairs and everything. And maybe even the hand speed. I have enough in my inventory so I can make a, one of these now and stuff, but eventually as I make these tubes, I'll run out for what's in my inventory. And let's see what this guy's made out of. I'm just trying to see if I should do a little hypertubing now, or if I need to wait till the next episode after my factories run more. Pipes and copper sheets. Yeah, I have them in my inventory, and these are things that are, I saw there was copper sheets in its storage. and the pipes did have pipes in its storage, so I'd be fine on that. So it looks like I could do some hyper tubing making now until I get to maybe too much of this. This is the one thing where I'll need more of those items to make it. And this stuff can't be made manually. Rotors, I think you can manually make rotors, but I don't think you can with the I'll have to look if I can make those manually. But who wants to see me at the crafting bench making those things? Maybe just leave this run overnight. But anyway, you have a hypertube entrance. You have the tube itself that you travel down. You have a hypertube support and a stackable hypertube. Yeah, it seems all to make sense. Let's see though here. Let's just practice this out a little bit. Like, let's say I want to get up there quicker than using what do you call it, you know, the ramp and all that. Can I get up there quicker? Now, it might take a little bit of time to figure out where I actually want to land up there, but I can put you in place here. Ah, and look, it requires power. Yeah, so I have a burner right over here, but it may be used up. I mean, I'm getting to the point where I might need to put in some new burners, which means it'll take a little time off screen for me to figure out where I want to, you know, put in pipe junctions and bring more water, and splitters for the coal to bring more coal. Like this one's almost at max, but it's not at max. So if I decide I want to have a hypertube to get up to that level from here, I could make it, and that would get some of the ramps out of the way. So let me go get that one, bring it over here. Let's just try it. Let's just do the hypertubes just as an example, and then off screen I'll think about my hypertube network. But I'm definitely going to need another coal burner pretty soon, it looks like. Or I could save the hypertubes till later. But to be honest with you, right now I don't mind walking up the ramp. I have one there and another on the other side. Takes a little longer, but you know, the hypertubes are best for going from one place to another. Now it looks like the entrance requires power. I don't know about the rest of the tube. I don't think so. So let's check that out. Let's just see how these hypertubes work. Hypertube entrance. And it requires power. Well, that powers this. I'll just take it from this pole here for now, because this is just a demonstration, or really also for me just to, oh no, there's ore being used right there. Is there somewhere? Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put a new pole here. These poles can only use one at a time. I mean, 4 at a time. 4 wires. Let's disconnect that from that. And then what I'll do is I'll connect the burner. Oh, I thought it was the... Oh no, the burner's going... Oh shoot, what did I disconnect? I disconnected the wrong thing. The burner's going to this pole first. Oh, I didn't need to do that. I could just connect from this pole straight to here. I didn't need to make a new pole. This is just for now. I'm probably not going to leave it like this. Jeez. Alrighty. So, we got that entrance. I don't know if it's far back enough. We're going to have to see. Probably it's not far back enough. Transportation. Yeah, it's looking all red. I'm going to have to see something here. I'm going to put a hypertube pole up there to receive the hypertube. Yeah, maybe I could benefit from a hypertube there. As you play this game and you see some of the components you get later on, a lot of times you might be like, you'll play the game earlier on differently because you'll know you'll get different things later on. How about here? This will be a place to receive it. I might need to move that entrance down below, but let's say I want to come up here. So we're on hypertubes. Let's just put a pole here. I can't put it on the wall, huh? I wonder if it would let me do this, man. You know what? Since this is just an example, nah, let's go for it. Let's just try it. Let's try it. I have a feeling, because I haven't done the hypertubes before, I wonder if they can bend. No, not another entrance. It says I don't have the stuff to make it anyway. Let's say we want to arrive here. What happened? Hypertube support. Gotta click twice. So we want to arrive there. And probably if I want to use that hypertube in the opposite direction, I would have to put an entrance on this end. But the hypertube supports don't go on the Let me try another thing here. I'm going to take this out. Move you further back. Because I'm just feeling like... Let's say I'm coming from the copper area and I want to go up there. Here's the entrance. Now let's try running the tube. Looks like it goes that way. So, yeah, I'm going to have to take you down. Alright, these guys have important directional aspects to them. There, I turned it around. I don't see orange to indicate which way it has to be, but okay, so yeah, when you're putting an entrance down, the side that you would go in, the power bowl is on the right. Alright. Now let me go up there to that pole and see if it'll let me plug it in. If not, I'll just quickly move the pole down here and just move point to point just for the hell of it. And see how it works. But since I already put that pole up there, I'm going to see how versatile these things are. It's probably going to be red, I have a feeling. Alright, here we go. Yeah, it's red. Is it because of lack of materials? Ah, it's because of lack of materials. At least that's what it's showing here. What do I need? Pipes? I can get those. The steel pipes. I just want to see if it'll get over that wall there, because the pipes and conveyor belts and connecting those things up, they all have like different tendencies. I know I have plenty of pipes. Now, I'm going to see if I can connect the thing from up here rather than me walking down there again. Let's see. That it over there. Yep, turns green. And it looks like it will make a pole if you need to make a pole. Now it's yellow, that means it'll do it. Alright, so let's go down there and try it, because the entrance obviously is down there. I'm not going to be able to get in from up here. I forgot to play my music today. No, now that I've played with these a little bit, I can work out doing more interesting things with them. So I just need to connect up from that power pole there to this guy here. I wonder what its power demands are. Well, it's running. Can I hit E on it to see what its power demands are? No. Whoa. I just got sucked in. Hey! And then you just get knocked out. Now I wonder if I could just make an entrance and go the opposite direction, or if you have to have... I don't think so, because the way this seems is it's like sucking and, you know, blowing you one direction. I don't know that you can make them bi-directional. I don't think I have the materials to make another entrance though. Oh, I can. But now this would need to be powered by something. Do I have a spare? Why the hell do I have a power cable why don't I have a power pole up here to feed to this guy? I'm just doing it straight from down below. Oh, just like I'm doing it straight from down below here too, huh? Oh man. Here. All I need is a little bit of power. I got a bolt burner up here for 3 of the constructors. Yeah, it has availability of power. Let me see, what's the closest pole? It goes here to this. It goes there to that one. This is just a test, man. I'm not actually gonna want to have a tube doing this here. But I'm just seeing how well it works. Where is the tube now? Oh, I'm too far over. Here it is. So let's just take it, power from it, and connect that to the nearest power pole up here. There we go. That works. Now you see it's crashing in through here, so I definitely don't want it. So they are two-way. They are two-way. That's awesome. So now I gotta do some off-screen organizing, because it would just be painful for you to watch me trying to figure out where I want to have my tubes and what stuff's going to be powering them and all that. Guess I have to look on the wiki to see how much power they use, so I could see which burners I should connect them to. Oh yeah. But anyway, this is cool stuff. This is definitely cool stuff. And, you know. Alright. So, I figured that stuff out in this episode, but I probably shouldn't have done that, because this episode should have been, you know, switching from, oh, this is called switching from single player to a dedicated server and hypertubes. Alright, so anyway, that's good enough for now. I'm going to let this factory keep making stuff. And so I'll have plenty of stuff. So anyway, take care, peace out, and stay free. Please like, subscribe, share, anything to help this series out. I would greatly appreciate it. And drop a comment. Especially if you want me to make that dedicated server video, I'll do a demo video on how to do it. Alright, you all take care now.